In this video, we're going to be working with Google Docs Spreadsheets. To work with a spreadsheet that someone has already created and shared with you, all you have to do is go to your Google Docs, make sure you're signed in, and you should look for it. You should be able to see it here in the documents. And what you do is you look for the one that has a spreadsheet, and they look like a little table cell here. They have little cells and little rows and columns, and you just click on the one that you're going to be working on. For this example, we're going to work on sensory preferences and learning style inventory, and that was one that that I created in order to stockpile the information that we found by using the student survey that Mike King and Ashley Newman came around and gave to all of our students. When you click on it to open it up, you're going to find out that a spreadsheet in Google Docs looks just like a spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel. If you've worked with Microsoft Excel before, you know that columns are indicated by letters, so A, B, C, and so on. Rows are indicated by numbers, 1, 2, 3, and all the way down. Now, the interesting part about Google Docs is it starts out giving you 100 rows by default. And what you can do is down at the bottom, you can add more rows. So I can click on this little plus and add more rows if I want. So I can add rows and add rows and add rows until I have enough. And so let's see how many I have here now. I've added a few before, so I should be up pretty high now. Looks like I'm up to 600. Now we're going to have about 750 kids in here, so I'm going to add another 200 rows at the bottom, so we make sure we have plenty of rows for all of our entries here. So now I'm up to like 700 or 800 rows, and that's what we need to accomplish our task here, because we're going to have 800 entries, or 737 entries to be precise. But I can move up and down in my rows by using this scroll bar on the right. Now, like I said, it's like Microsoft Excel, so it's split up into cells, and those are all indicated by columns being numbers. Columns being letters. Columns being letters and rows being numbers. So each cell is referenced by the column and the row. So the cell I'm on right now is B5. So it's B for the column, 5 for the row, and so on. So if I start to write formulas for these, they're referenced by the column and then the row. Also, since it's a shared document, you'll notice that potentially there could be someone else editing this at the same time as you. And for our activity today, you're going to find out that there's going to be a lot of people editing at the same time. Right now, I can look on here, and it looks like Nancy Bushnowski is editing this. And you can see up here in the upper right-hand corner, it says Nancy Bushnowski is viewing. And I can look over here, and I can see that this cell is highlighted in green, and it has her name on it. That means she's working in that cell right now. And so I can sit here, and I can see what she's going to type. Or I can just move on to mine, and notice that mine is outlined in blue. And I can just start entering data in. So I definitely want to pick one that she's not in, and I'll probably give her a little bit of space here. And so I'll type in my entry. So I'm just typing in the data, and I'm going to move from cell to cell using my arrows here, or you can click in them. And so I can type in whatever my data needs to be here. And all I'm going to do is follow those sheets that we had the students fill out. So if you notice on the back of them, the students should have added up their scores for visual, auditory, or tactile kinesthetic. And so I'm just going to enter in those scores. And this first kid got an 11 for that, and got a 4 for that, and a 6 for that. So I'm just doing data entry at this point. And what we'll end up with is a stockpile of all this data. Now, while you're working in here, you'll see that there are a lot of people working at the same time, so you may want to scroll way down and give yourself some space. You can also notice that a few things about Google Docs working in a spreadsheet is that while you're looking at this, other people's names will show up here, and it'll say something like this: Nancy Buznowski is viewing. But notice this little double drop-down arrow. If I click that, now I get a little chat window, a simple chat window, and I can actually chat with Nancy at the same time. And I would just type in there and hit enter, and then she would maybe type back. So, notice she typed right back to me. And then if I look at some of the other parts of the screen here, you can see that it's very similar to Microsoft Excel, and it has a lot of the same features. Let's just do a quick run through of the menus. Under the File menu, you have those typical things like Open and New and Import. You can import things from Excel into here. You can import CSVs. You can also make a copy of this, and you can download it. If you wanted to use this in Microsoft Excel, you can download it as an Excel file or an HTML or CSV or something like that. You can print this. You can save and close. And it will save as you go along. Once you enter in data into a column, it'll save it as you go. The edit menu. Those are the typical edit menu things. Undo, redo, cut, copy, paste. You can paste format. You can paste values. You can delete columns and delete rows that you're on. You can clear selections. And you can do other things, named ranges. The view, you can show a few different views here. You have normal view, compact view, and list view. You can hide the controls or hide the formula bar or show the formula bar. You can insert rows and columns. You can insert comments so that other people can see what you were doing and explain what you're doing. You can insert formulas. Formulas are things like you can sum, you can average, you can count up the number of items in a row or column. You can get a maximum or minimum value, and there's a lot of other formulas that you can do. Those are the main ones there. You can insert gadgets, charts, images, drawings. The format menu is just what it is. You can format the font and the text and the data that are inside. This little feature down here, clear formatting, is pretty handy. If you copy and paste something from some data from another sheet or somewhere else, and it has some formatting that you don't like, you can clear that formatting with that. You can also create a form for entering data. And there's some other aspects to that, and working with forms is a whole nother ball of wax. But then there's also some tools. You can sort columns, and you can sort the whole sheet. You can freeze rows or freeze columns. You can protect the sheet. You can set notification rules, like if someone's edited some part of it and you want to know. And then, like most other applications, you have the help. So you can go to the Google Docs Help Center, which is really helpful. And there are some instructional videos out there. So, again, it's a lot like Microsoft Excel, except for, just remember, this is a shared document environment, so you have to watch out for where other people are entering their information. And you can always tell because theirs are outlined in another color. And that's all there is to it.